It's funny because right now what I'm holding in my hands is one of my poetry books, Poems and Prose. It's been almost it's almost been 10 years since I wrote this book and published it on Amazon, and I wrote two more books after that. Uh, can't think of the names off the top of my damn head because I thought I had all three of them here, but I just got Poems and Prose, and for some reason this one really stands out to me because it's the first one that I really felt like, okay, if I don't get off my ass and write something, I'm going to do something stupid to myself. And yeah, folks, I went to the extremes like that. Back in 2017, I was really at a point in my life where it's like, you know what? I have to do something. It's now or fucking never. I have to write a book or I'm just taking up space in this world. And I told myself, boy, if you know what? If you don't write something, you're going to go out to the goddamn woods and do something stupid to yourself. And I had made a commitment to myself to do it. And apparently I want to live more than I want to do what I want to do, because here I am talking with you and looking at my first ever. Well, actually, no, this is my second published book. My first one is Single Dad. And during the time on it's not Gmail, it was Blogger. I was writing, I read a book called How to Blog Your Story. And during the time I was writing basically my adventures with Anthony while he was growing up. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do a book, so I might as well go ahead and blog it. And then, like the lady said, and convert that into a story. And it was I think it was a short book. It's free. You can get it on Amazon and Draft Digital. And it's just maybe about 10 pages. It was basically some fatherly advice to fellow single dads out there, because one, during that time, no one was really giving us any kind of advice, and I wasn't seeing it, I wasn't hearing it, and if I was, it was going in one ear and out the other, because there is a certain life experience between races about raising their kids, and I stand by that 10 toes down to this damn day. So my book is mainly going out to dads of color who were going through the single life like me, and quite a few people had downloaded the book for free. The last I checked, it had over 2,000 downloads, which I feel that's a great accomplishment. I was like, all right, cool, I'm onto something here. And that's when I started doing poetry. The poetry came about because I don't know if you heard of this guy, R.H. Sin. He's Instagram poetry famous because he was writing a lot of poems. He was writing a lot of poems about his sister's heartbreak, because I guess this dude just really just trampled his sister's heart. So he was writing poems about her and to her about, how shitty men can be, and that really resonated with women as usual. Ladies, I'm not cutting you down, but goddamn, if men talk bad about men, y'all are all over that shit, and I don't lie, it pissed me off. So I was like, you know what? Why isn't anyone writing poems about the fellas who were out there doing good? So I became the opposite, and I found a few poems. I said, I'm gonna write the opposite of this one. This guy ain't shit. You hurt this one. No, dude, you're okay. You're out there, you have the same struggles as women, and you're doing the damn thing. It just looks different. It feels different, but it's us. And I sold quite a few copies of that one. When I first put it on Amazon, it really didn't budge. But then I got some reviews, and all of a sudden, the book kind of started taking off a little bit. It hasn't sold. It never really sold that many copies, but I got a lot of positive reviews on it. And as time went on, I was like, it's time for a second book. And this was when certain other things in my life were happening, the second and third book. And needless to say, that second book, I think, hit the hardest. Because I ain't gonna lie, I was all in love. I was just in my feelings about so many things, and I was happy and just feeling that. I was feeling life. Book 3 ended up being the opposite of everything what was going on. It had more stories up in there, just as many. It had just as many stories as it did poetry. Stories were about, about fictional stuff, and the poems were pretty much blasting a lot of folks. So it turned a sharp turn from the very first book, and I was I was kind of laughing at myself. I was like, God damn, what in the hell? Even some people who proofread it for me, they're like, Philip, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine now. Shit. I blasted who I needed to blast. I'm fucking fine now. I blasted family. I blasted friends. I blasted every damn body. I didn't give a shit. During that time, there was a lot of things that were going in me. And looking back at some of the books earlier, especially now that I have poems and prose in my hand, I was like, you know what? I think it's time for book 2. And the only reason why I say it's time for book 2 is because I just realized that I haven't written a poem, honestly, folks. It's been about a year and a half. I've written many stories, but I haven't written any poems. And I've been feeling life a certain way lately, especially after my medicine journey, several medicine journeys, and several other happenings that have been going on in my life. And today I actually wrote a poem. Can you believe it? I couldn't believe it. I was like, hey, I needed this. And going over my journal I had last year, seeing where I was at as opposed to where I am now, because it's almost been halfway through my calendar year. And I told myself, how much further do I want to go with my writing? Writing's in my blood. You're either a writer or you're not. You never stop writing. I doodle in my journal and all this other stuff. But I think it's time for Poems and Prose round 2. Because poetry, whether we like it or not, any kind of writing, whether we like it or not, it's art. Some people write, short stories or long novels, or they're journalists reporting the news. It's still art. Whether we like it or not, no matter how their words hit, it's still art. It's still an art form. And our words can do many things. It can uplift, it can tear down. It can inform, it can spread love, it can spread hate, it can do so many things. And I just feel it's just time for me to come out with book 2 after all these years. I'm feeling it. And I've been wondering lately, how do I express how I'm feeling? How do I get this shit out of my system besides getting on the podcast, talking shit, saying how I feel? Write another poetry book. But this time it's not going to be the little short form poems. Oh, maybe they will. But I told myself, you're just going to write. And poetry, people say, well, poetry has to rhyme. No, poetry can sound like any motherfucking way you want to. Poetry can sound like a music lyric. To me, poetry sounds like a conversation between people. In book 2, a lot of my poems were written to not only to me, but to several other people. And that's how I was feeling all those words. I'm feeling the words again in a way that I have to express certain things. And lately I've been wanting to talk to my younger self again. And I talk to him all the time, even though people look at me sometimes like, are you talking? You're really sitting here having a conversation with yourself. Yeah, mind your business. I'm having a family discussion. Mind your damn business. And I just, honestly, folks, too, I just been looking at a lot of things. I've been looking at the world differently through different eyes, different lenses. And I've grown into this person that I'm really falling in love with. And I have fallen in love with him. I wish this person was around years ago, because he is the man who is embodying what I really needed when I was a child. Someone who's loving and protecting and teaches me lessons and doesn't make fun of me, doesn't scold me when shit goes sideways. And most of all, he doesn't put his goddamn hands on me. Yeah, he doesn't put his goddamn hands on me. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't scream or yell or call me names and shit like that. He doesn't do all that because he realizes that unless it comes from a loving place and space, it doesn't work on people. I really wish he was around this version of Philip when Anthony was a kid, because I guarantee my son wouldn't be where he's at right now. I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I would be somewhere happy, not happy. I'd be somewhere joyful. I'd be somewhere where I can be prosperous and, man, maybe even married again, maybe with another child. But things happen whether they want them to or not. And it becomes a matter of how you choose to go from there. And I realize that through every street that I've walked over the years, every road trip, every past bottle of beer I've drank, and every female I've had sex with, every fight I've had, every lyric or word I wrote down on a piece of paper or even talked to on a medium like this, it's all happened for a reason. And I'm glad it did. Or else I would never have learned a lesson that helps me move forward. So hell, here's to more poems. I would say here's to more drinking and more beer and stuff like that, but Big Daddy don't drink no more. Just don't have the need for it. This is how I know I've changed, because even when we had our recent reunion, a high school reunion, people were like, Magana, you don't drink no more? Nope. I don't drink. I don't smoke either. I dance and have fun, and I have fun my way. If you want a beer, I'll buy you one. I'll get me a soda. And I'll still share a drink with you. And a few of them did. They were like, man, they go, I feel bad now because I'm over here drinking alcohol and you're over here just drinking like an iced tea or something. I say, hey, I offered. We're still here. There's many of us. When we walked into that damn into the Orpheum Theater for the high school reunion, it was combined. And I know a lot of people couldn't make it, but also at the same time, we were looking at the obituary book. There's a lot of us gone. So I promised myself, you are going to make footsteps in this damn life. Someone once told me, walk softly, but take big steps. And homie, I'm doing my best. I'm walking softly, but I'm taking big steps. It's what we do in this life. We're going to die someday. And I refuse to live an unlived life. I refuse to be bogged down by people who, to me, just don't want to do shit. When I sit back and one of my other friends told me, do an audit of your friendships real quick. I'm just talking at random now. Okay, folks? He told flat, he goes, do an audit of your friendships. I said, okay. And what am I supposed to do with this audit? And I already knew he was going to say, he goes, are they fulfilling? Are they loving? Can you go to anyone on your list at any moment and be, hey, you know what? I need help. Can you be on their list, and can they come to you and say, hey, I need help? Can you be just brutally honest with your list? So I did. Made the list, and I wrote down the name of a lot of everyone who I feel I'm friends with. Wow. The number of people who are in their different categories with me and what I want out of friendships, shit. It's amazing. It's completely different from night and day. Those who I know who I can count on, as opposed to, I guess, people who just are there. We're taking up space in each other's realms, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want friendships like that, even though we have friendships from all walks of life. And we take what we can with these people. But shit, I want people who want to do something. I want people who want to forge bonds and family and work on projects and shit like that. Man, there's so much that we all want out of friendships that we all know that we all can't fulfill. And then after I showed him the list, he goes, Okay, do an audit of yourself. What kind of person are you? I said, okay, I'll tell you flat. I already know what kind of person I am. I am a good person. I'm not nice. I'm not kind no more. I said, because sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I don't want to be nice. I don't want to be fucking kind. I said, I always hear people talk about, oh, I'm just positive. I do my best just to stay positive. For what? What are you trying to hide behind that you're trying to stay so positive because the world is, going crazy right now, and you feel like you have to be that person to be positive? Man, fuck that. Because if you're friends with everyone, you're friends with no one. I'm going to say that again. If you're friends with everyone, you're friends with no one. I heard that a long time ago. Matter of fact, I heard that when I used to be Catholic. I heard that from one of the priests, and he said flat out, he said, "Phil, you're trying to be nice with everyone. You're trying to be friends with everybody." He goes, "That's good." He said, "But how is it really making you feel?" I said, "Doesn't make me feel good." I said, "It feels like I'm trying too hard when it feels like they're not even trying with me at all." He goes, "And do you want to be friends with these people sometimes?" And that's the first time I ever realized that no, I don't want to be friends with everybody. It's just too hard. It's tiring. It doesn't feel good trying to be friends with people who want nothing to do with you. He said, "You're learning." He goes, "That's something no Bible or no God can ever teach you. This is something that life can teach you. Don't be friends with everybody because you have expectations and not everyone can fulfill those expectations. Just be yourself." Over the years, those words just really stuck with me, especially after my grandma told me, mijo, you sangre espesa. I said, "What's that, Grandma?" "Thick blood." She'd always tell me, "So you're not gonna mix with everybody." And then my mom reminded me of those words 2 years later. Yeah, I'm not gonna mix with everybody. You, listener, are not gonna mix well with everybody. So fuck trying to get along with everybody. Why? I mean, but hey, if that's your jam, if you want to be friends with everybody, if you want to be so damn, I mean, I know a whole bunch of people who talk about, man, Phil, I'm just doing my best to stay positive through all this. But you're also denying your other emotions that you need in order to stay positive. Because unless you feel your shit, unless you dig into your shadows, because I've seen some people lately whose shadows pop up at the wrong damn time. They don't know how to handle that shit. That's why I'm like, you know what? Hey, hell no. I'm not always positive. I don't want to be fucking positive. There's times I don't want to be fucked with. I don't even want to look at goddamn people. Even though I love people, I love the people who are in my life, I don't want to see the motherfucking asses either sometimes. I'm like, shit, fuck you guys. I love y'all, but man, at the same time, you're the dick. But then I get over that phase. I'm like, you know what? Cool. I felt what I felt. Now, how can I help you? That's just the way I roll. We all roll different, but also learn that none of us are getting out of this alive. So, I'm going to feel what I feel. I'm going to go where I'm going to go. And I hope you do too. Stay up, y'all. It's time for me to go inside. Yeah, if you hear the crickets, you listen. Yeah, these fuckers are loud. I love being outside around this time of year, around the fall season. It's soothing. That's why I'm out here talking with y'all now. Just let y'all know that yes, book 2 is coming. And it'll be out when it's out. All I know that this one I know is going to be more engaging. It's coming from the heart. It's coming from the soul. I know I'm going to love it, and I hope you do too. Will there be a new cover? Who knows? I might just keep it the same style and just change the lettering. All right, so keep a lookout. I love you all. May you all have a good night. Get some sleep. Memes, whatever you want to call it. And as always, peace.